All right, we're at the famed Loomiller Park and Longmont. This is the new layout. This park closed for about a year to install this new playground that's over here that the kids are at. And they ended up having to move a bunch of the holes to kind of play around the playground and make it a little safer. But the nice thing is they've got a new practice basket. They've got all new disc park baskets, and the layout is actually pretty fun. We don't have signs yet, so I'm just going to kind of walk you through. I don't really know the distances, so hopefully these written on the signs are correct. 347 is kind of out there on this little green patch in between the winding sidewalks. Kind of depends on how they play, if the sidewalks are OB or not. But it's fairly straightforward in this position. At the rate I'm throwing, that feels farther than 347, but all right, we'll go with my new trespass. I need to break this thing in anyway. Okay, I had a backup for the one that's in the Sinton Creek here. Let's just kind of throw a nice relaxed drive, see if we can get out there, see how this thing handles. She's got some stability right around it. Oh, easy. Okay, for being fresh out of the box, I think I definitely have gained some velocity, because these trespasses, fresh out of the box a couple months ago when I got them, was pretty straight and fading left. I actually thought they were kind of overstable. That came out. Granted, I think I might have put a little ante out of the hand. It's hard to tell right now. My release is just a little off. In the last tournament, it was, I think, 395, and it was just on the other side of the sidewalk here in the tournament to make it a little more difficult putting it next to the water. So if I had to guesstimate, I'd say this is probably closer to like 365, 370 maybe, which is about a pretty standard drive with a stable fair driver for me. So not too bad. All right, this one, the sign says 301. I'm not seeing it currently. Okay, so we can see it now. Ooh, this is okay. So that's pretty far back there. I'll show you. I'll zoom out here. There's the tee pad right there. Got a water carry, and it is pretty far back here. I'm not really worried about the water carry. We got to get past the edge of it and swing in. The only thing, it does push in a little bit, curve in around there and push in a little bit, kind of work close to the basket. So I don't know. All right, in that case, I think I'm gonna go with the new Vass, just because I wanted to make sure it stays right. I'm gonna put it on a tiny bit of hyzer. It should flip up, but it shouldn't finish very hard left. So I think we should stay out of the water. Yeah, it should be pretty good. I think that's a little short, but I don't know. Couldn't really tell if I made the bend or not. That did actually end up cutting back a little left. It might be either parked or it might be on the edge of the water short. Hopefully we didn't go in. All right. Don't see me yet. So it was definitely a little short.
A few moments later.
I'm just underneath this rock here. Definitely short. So kind of unfortunate. I misjudged that a little bit. Safety's sake, I'm just going to take it right here. I think I'm actually technically in my paper here. Oh, not quite. We gave it a good bid. Yeah, this says 346. We're thinking maybe 336. Kind of down there past that first tree right there. Got to push a little right and then maybe skip left. 346 should be pretty good for a felon. We'll go with the Saki felon. Slight anhyzer. Looks pretty good. Skip. Should be pretty decent. Not bad. Appreciate you guys. You too. All right, always fun to have a little gallery pressure. That worked out really good. That felon is just very nice. It's just not super overstable, but obviously, like, I can throw that hard with an Annie and it just pushes straight and then finishes at the end. I think this is how Firebirds are for you lowlanders. Ooh, look at that. CTP. I'll take a little CTP love. Can you see the basket here? Yeah. Kind of a deep circle one. A little bit thick grass here. Didn't get as much skip as I'd hoped, but should be makeable. There we go. That's the best putt release I've had in a while. That felt pretty good. All right, that's good too. Okay. Now we're kind of rolling a little bit. Man, if I would hit that long putt, 3 for 3 start would have been kind of fun. Okay. Here is 4 long. I think. Yes. Okay. So there's no sign. You can see it's kind of in this grove. In this position, this to me is just hyzer. If you have a good forehand, this plays a good forehand lane. In this position, you can kind of just, I'm just going to go big hyzer. I don't know what the distance is. In a tournament, we played this as a par 4, the two next holes combined. And I was actually using this hyzer line to actually kind of get into a good spot for the second throw versus taking this tunnel, because when there's cars lined up here and the wind is blowing, this tunnel is kind of not great. So I'm going to actually go high, way high, big spike hyzer kind of up over this tree on the right here. This will be, I need some work on my spike since I changed my run up here. I've been trying to stay on my toes and shorten my stride. That's a little too... All right. Oh, we got the counter roll. That actually worked out really well. I'll take it. That was a little not quite the right angle, but we got a pretty favorable kick off the tree. I need to get that a little wider or a little more vertical. One of the two. The new shorter step is kind of making my hyzer angles a little different. Still feels good. It's just not quite the same as I was throwing before. Yeah, we had the distance pretty close because we hit this tree and then bounced back a little bit. Now that I see this air pocket, I could definitely push more out toward these pines or further into this thing. I can actually go a little wider, maybe even more overstable of a driver, and just kind of go a little wider and flatter and kind of sneak in this way. I don't think I have to necessarily go higher. I think wider would have been really good because you kind of swing the angle out that way. Your skip would come a little more straighter. So we'd have a little bit of a shorter putt, but I had a good release last time. Let's see if we can kind of keep that rolling here. Can't find my putt again here. There we go. There we go. Look at that. We're rolling now. All right, now we're rolling. Let's go. Wow. I'm gonna waste this good round out here. Man, let's play like this weekend. It'll be fun. Okay. Man, I wish I knew these distances a little more. All right, the sign says 338. That looks about right. Kind of see it there to the left of the pine tree. So when this played as a par 4, on the first day I think it was there, and then the second day it was, or no, it was actually behind that pine. And I was actually landed right here somewhere. And I had to curve it around that pine. I threw a pretty amazing shot, I must say. I don't know. I mean, it seems maybe shorter. 338. It's kind of downhill. So I think actually maybe hex at this and just kind of go straight at it. Oh man, that release felt great. Oh, we parked it. Park job. Man, this I don't know if you can tell. You probably can't see it on film because I'm not zoomed out enough, but I'm taking kind of smaller steps on my toes. I've talked about it a few times, and it's just, oh man, I was taking too long of a stride earlier, and I think it was messing up my timing. I was losing power. Thanks, shout out to Bedanza for kind of his work with Drew Gibson, but it's really kind of coming out of my hand like super clean. Just feels great. And like that hex has just got a nice easy flight to it. Yeah, we parked it. Let's go. I don't even need flipsies. All right, putt actually starting to feel slightly better. That's a good sign. It has not felt great lately. That is a good sign. That is a good one to get. All right, Loomiller feeling pretty scoreable right now. Okay, so you can see it. It is right under the boughs of that. It's actually quite a bit deep of that pine. It's even beyond that second pine. This was actually in a more left position than last tournament I played. Pretty sure 360 was the leftmost position. This is a little harder to access because the left position, I just played a high hyzer straight at that pine tree, and I just cut across like right in front of it, and I basically had a pretty easy putt each time. This seems further back there, and it does seem like I need to push it a little. Like this, I don't know. That seems like maybe in the 400 range. I'm gonna go with the Faro and try to kind of hyzer flip low and hope it stables up kind of just past that leaning pine tree and maybe skip left or around. If it pushes too straight, I go back behind the second set of evergreens there and maybe have a look from the backside. Oh, right behind it. Okay, we just pushed just behind it, so that was pretty good. Man, I am rolling right now. I am rolling right now. That was not exactly the shot I wanted to go a little lower, but it kind of did what I wanted to. It kind of drifted right and then came back at the end. I think I was right. I think this is around 400. Like, that should give me a pretty good putt. Man, I'm going to waste this performance. Oof, so sad. Oh, yeah, it's definitely back. I think this shot is going to be great. Like, that's exactly what I needed to do. I couldn't tell depth-wise off the tee where this basket was in relation to this second set of pine trees. And here, I'll zoom out. So here's the leaning pine tree. It's actually a decent amount of space in before we get to this pine tree. And I curved right around behind it. And, like, you can't draw this up better than that. What the heck? What the heck? That was perfect. Yeah, you can't really draw it up a whole lot better than that. Ooh-wee. All right. On to the corner shots. And from the side, you can kind of see it right toward the tee that they're on. Here's the basket we're going to go for. And we're going to come back behind the tee here. It says 277. This feels... I did not bring my envy. This feels like envy territory to me. And since I don't have the envy, all right, we'll do hex. We'll go hex, and we'll do it a little softer and see if we can't kind of get a flip up and fade with the hex. A little bit of a high kind of pushing. That's, I think, C1. Yeah, that should be solid. Man, I'm just kind of rolling right now. Everything feels so good. It's kind of amazing. Man, this is the only bad thing is, like, I'm moving really fast and I'm going throw after throw. So you get on a roll like this and I can just kind of keep it going. You know, sometimes it's just one putt and one throw and everything just starts working. And yeah, it's just hard to explain. And I wish I could figure out how to kind of get that rolling in a tournament, because the slowdowns, the delays, the pressure, everything else just kind of, yeah, always ends up working against you. The hex, I'm a little short. I could have definitely pushed the hex a little harder. I was a little afraid with how well I threw that hex earlier, that I was going to go way past. But on that kind of high drifting line, I could definitely give it a little more juice. Not sure what I'd rather do. Normally I would kind of throw the NB. Let's see if I can hit a putt first. I'll talk it in. Nope. Banded it. Well, we ruined our streak. Dang, we had it going. Well, we had it going, but that was a little bit of a long putt. I can still make that. I definitely could have pushed that a little further. Now that I know depth perception, my depth perception's so bad sometimes. And that's why just throwing a hole once sometimes can be so much more advantageous. There's a lot of room. There's more room back here than you realize. There's the tree to catch it, if you end up hitting the tree, there's a pretty good chance you have a putt. So I think, and that's one of those cases where it's like, well, if that was, 30 short and you push it, you still have another 60 feet to work with. So that's quite a bit, as long as I take that same line and don't flatten it out too much. All right, this one is kind of straight back there to the right through these trees. You can kind of take this low line. I'm going to actually kind of swing it out wide on the hyzer and try to kind of skip it back in. These kids are kind of like right in the way here. Yeah, I'm not sure. There's another pin location that's actually to the left of this occasionally. It sits way back here beyond this tree, and you can kind of take a big wide anhyzer at it, but this pole sits kind of like right in the angle you want to throw. When this tree has leaves, it makes a much more intimidating obstacle. I tried that and I got pushed down by the wind in the lunacy tournament. Ended up taking a double bogey on this, and it really kind of didn't end up costing me in the end, but that's just like a mistake you can't really make. All right, now that they're moving off. So you could take the tunnel, especially if you have a good forehand, and you could play the skip, play the low skipping thing. I'm just going to kind of flex it out to the right here, take the hyzer line, and see if I can't push back in there a little bit. Oh, that's not going to pass the tree. Yeah, gotta swing it out over that line. Kind of a challenging line. I think if I had my full bag, I could probably get my beefiest wind fighter and put a little more ante on it out into the space, and then let it kind of come back and skip. But yeah, I just didn't push that trespass wide enough. Caught the tree line. I was kind of rolling, missed a putt, and now we missed our line. There's not much danger, but I mean, this gives us almost no look, unfortunately. We'll try to go Anheuser-Berg and float it in. No, we hit the one branch we can't hit with the Anheuser-Berg floater. Yeah, that's could be kind of a little challenging tree. Doesn't look like there's all that much stuff there, but trees are 90% air, right? Until you hit the 10% and leave yourself with kind of a long putt. Thankfully, I think I got my putting confidence back. That feels pretty good. All right, we got a little bit of a walk. We'll go past the playground here to the new hole 9. So the original hole 1 was actually, I think the tee was somewhere in the middle of this, or actually kind of by this gazebo behind. And you actually used to throw across the pond to either to the left of this tree or the right of this tree. The notorious gross pond that swallowed discs like crazy. Now the pond shouldn't come into play nearly as much anymore, at least where we're throwing now. Into the sunset, onto the hill back there. But we've got all the space out right. There is another location that's kind of down here on the right, kind of at the end of this little strip of grass here. And this says 311. I don't know if that's correct or not. That seems farther than that. But we're going to go back. This felon has been working. And we're going to go felon at the sunset. Kind of a nice little hyzer. See if we can't put it on the hill. just a very slight hyzer. See if we can't skip up right up to the basket here. It's too wide. Probably too wide. Skip. Not bad. All right. So a little wide, but just the right distance. Oh, this guy's going for a disc. Going swimming in the gross ass pond. Ooh. That some dedication for a disc. I can see it out there. Yikes. Yeah, that felt great. I thought it was a little wide, but man, it does, when you give it enough air, got that nice fade to it. And, you know, the water really isn't any play on this unless you just really shank an early shot. I think there is a pin position that is closer somewhere here. And I think there's one right as well. We didn't do too bad. A little wide, a little wider than I had hoped, but we've got ourselves a nice little putt here. All right, you have to always check your back foot stability, and I think it's best too if you actually happens to step off of it and reset, because I'm actually going to play the flip too, because it'll give me a little flatter. And then I like to push back into the hips and forward. I feel like it keeps my energy lower and flatter. That's what I've been trying to figure out. And then finally, like, I'm having a release that's firing out on the pole with just the slightest touch of hyzer. All right, that's pretty good. Pretty happy with that. He's out there. Well, the moon is out and we are done with our round at Loomiller. That's 9 holes here at the new Loomiller Park. Laid out pretty nicely. Good amount of different lengths. This current pin positions are kind of in longish positions. There are kind of few shorter ones normally. I think with the tournament coming up, they're kind of making it as difficult as they can in some of the longer positions. This is a practice putting basket now they have, which is kind of nice here. And the nice thing is you can meet right here at the pavilion, right by hole 1. It's just set up pretty well. Nice little park here, and good league up here. The Longmont or Longs Peak Disc Golf Club is a pretty good group of guys. They run some really fun tournaments, lots of leagues, doubles and everything. Pretty, maybe more active than even than the Boulder Club. This weekend's going to be fun because it's really kind of Longmont versus Boulder, and who can come out on top. 27 holes in Longmont, 27 holes in Boulder. That's all the holes in each city. So who can master the other's terrain and master their own should be pretty good. Kind of excited. And I'll see if we can get over to Wildcat Ridge and maybe have enough light for that. I kind of doubt it, but let's see what we can do. There you go, Loomiller Park. I like the new layout. It's pretty fun. It's a nice challenge to it, especially in this pin locations. Some good length. They can do some tricky stuff with the sidewalks for OBs if they want to make it more challenging, for sure. And you can probably add some Mandos. A couple of these that are along the road are can be in a little bit of weird spots, but overall this thing plays pretty dang fun.